Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all PA students, sponsored by the Pennsylvania Association for College Admissions Counseling and StriveScan. Thanks so much for joining us here this evening. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. You are going to be able to use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so our panelists will not be able to see or hear you. And this is just one of many sessions that are currently happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at pacac.org/virtual. This presentation is also being recorded, and it's going to be available within about a week's time at the same website, which is pacac.org/virtual. So with that being said, I'd like to turn it over to Josh from Millersville University, and enjoy your session.
Hi everyone, my name is Josh and I'm Assistant Director of Admissions at Millersville University, and hopefully we have a fun and informative presentation for you this afternoon. So I know that some of you, especially if you're taking classes remotely and online, are probably tired of being on the computer, being on Zoom and all of that stuff. So I thought we would start out the presentation this afternoon by having a little fun. What I'd like to do in order to start off is I would like to play a game with you all, okay? And what we'll do is we'll start off by playing Millersville Kahoot. This way I can start to get an idea of what you know about Millersville already, maybe get an idea of where you are with things. So we'll go ahead and play that. And if you've never played Kahoot before, what you're going to do is you're going to go to kahoot.it, okay, on a browser, and it can be a computer, it can be your phone. It's honestly a little bit easier on your phone. And then you're going to type in this game pin right here, okay? So go to kahoot.it and then type in this game pin, and then you can pick a funny username. You can put your name if you want to. Just make sure it's appropriate. Kahoot.it and then enter the game pin. Thanks, Kelly. Whenever I do this with my students at Millersville, they always come up with like crazy names. So I like the question marks. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So here comes your first question. You'll have 20 seconds to answer each question, okay? Here we go. Millersville University was founded in what year? Guess 1776. We're not as old as the country, but yeah, that's right. We were founded in 1855. Millersville University, believe it or not, is actually the first state school in all of Pennsylvania. So we've been around for quite a while. Now this next question, there's no right or wrong answers. It's more of a poll than a question. So take a second and here it comes. Oh, good job, question marks. Okay, this is something that for me as an admissions counselor is really helpful to see. So obviously something that's important to almost all of you is making sure that you pick a school that has your major. And what we'll do a little bit later on in the presentation is I'll give you guys the chance to run through any major that you're thinking about, and I'll be happy to let you know if we have it at Millersville, what it looks like. So just know that we will talk about that. It's also interesting to see that right now students are concerned about getting admitted and being able to pay for college, because what's going to happen typically around this time of the year, students are most concerned about being admitted to a university. And then what happens once a student's been admitted, their next thought is, okay, I've been admitted. Now, how much is this going to cost me? When does my financial aid information come out? When does merit scholarships come out? So we'll talk about all of that stuff as well. And then in the Q&A function, if you want to know about anything else at Millersville, study abroad, or you have a specific question about internships, use that Q&A feature. I'll be answering some of those questions as we go. But here comes your next question. Oh, good job, question mark. On fire. Okay, so this is an important question because a lot of times students feel a lot of different ways when thinking about college. There's a lot of emotions that go into it. And I asked this question because I wanted you all to kind of get an idea about where you are and see compared to the other people who are in this session with you, your peers, to see where they are too. So if you are ever thinking about college and you're overwhelmed or stressed out, so is everybody else. And if you're feeling excited about college and you're looking forward to maybe living on campus or making new friends, you're not alone there either. Just keep in mind that as you go through the process of picking your college, each university or college is going to have an admissions counselor like me that's going to be there to help answer any questions that you have along the way. So anytime you start to get stressed out because you're not really sure what's going on, reach out to your admissions counselor because we can kind of help take that stress out of the process so that you can just focus on being excited. We're almost done. We only have 2 more questions, and here comes the next one. Okay, so for this question, I almost put in a third option, which was like, I'm not sure, but I hope you, if you've been on Millersville's campus before, you know it. And if you haven't, you know it, I hope. But anyway, okay, so it seems like most of you haven't been on campus yet, and that's also normal. That's normal because we're just starting senior year of high school. We're just starting the fall semester. Also, COVID, right? Like the pandemic has made it really tricky to be able to travel. So if you're coming from Western PA or Northeastern PA, we're located in South Central PA, so it's not maybe going to be as easy to visit us. So make sure if you've not physically been to campus yet that you're taking advantage of things like our virtual tour, our virtual information sessions, and events like this are a good idea too. But again, if you've not been on campus yet and that's stressed you out, just know that you're not alone. And at Millersville, we're still offering on-campus tours. So you can still physically come and visit campus if that's something that you're comfortable with. All right, let's see how people scored here. All right. It's kind of like whose line is it anyway, where the points don't matter, right? But good job, question mark. You're in a strong lead there. Now, the last question has to do with our mascot at Millersville University. Our mascot is a marauder. And my question to you is, what does that even mean? Nope, we got a different question. Okay, so sorry to throw you off. The next question is about the marauder. This is another question just to kind of get a feel for where you all are. And it seems like some of you, you know really what you want to study. And some of you, not 100% committed, no matter where you fall in that process, that's okay. At Millersville University, if you apply to Millersville and you're admitted into a major, even if that major is undecided. And the cool thing is that at Millersville, if you ever want to change your major up until right before classes start in July, all you have to do is email your admissions counselor and be like, hey Josh, I was admitted as a biology major, but I really want to do art. Can you switch me? We can help make that happen. So don't stress. It's kind of hard to know what you're going to study if you're in high school and you have to like think for the next 4 years or more. So try not to stress about that one too much either. Ooh, Kelly taking the lead. Hey, to everyone who said that that a marauder is a land pirate, you are absolutely correct. Um, so our mascot is basically like a pirate who goes on land to pillage and plunder. A sea pirate is also a very good guess, but I like to tell students, if you think of Harry Potter, if you're a Harry Potter fan, in Harry Potter, there's something called the Marauder map, which is kind of like a treasure map, but it's on land. So a marauder is a pirate, but one that's on land. So, yeah, okay, great. So you did a good job. Let's see who won. Good job, Megan. Ooh, good job, question mark. Way to go, Kelly. Is that actually your dog? Do you have 3 dogs? That would be interesting to know. But okay, anyway, so we're going to stop this now. And what we'll do is we'll switch over. Um, okay, some of the, I'm looking in the Q&A right now. I see, can I join the game? So if you had joined on late, I hope you were able to get in there. And the other question is, do I get a prize for being second? Email me, we'll talk. If you came in first, second, or third, email me, we'll talk. Okay, great. All right, now the next thing that we have to do is go over the actual presentation. So hopefully we loosen things up there a little bit and we'll switch into the actual meat and potatoes of what we wanted to go over today, which is information about Millersville University. Okay? We actually have a swan pond on our campus, and this is what that pond looks like in the winter. If you're on campus either in the spring as the cherry blossoms are blooming or the winter after it snows, it is absolutely gorgeous. We do have a really nice gazebo there. It's a really popular spot for our students. But anyway, here's just a quick shot of the heart of our campus to kind of get things started. And this is me. So again, my name is Josh. I'm Assistant Director of Admissions, and I do some recruitment in Pennsylvania. So if you're from York County or if you're from Lackawanna, Pike, Luzerne, I'm the person who actually reads your application. So make sure you jot down my email address, or remember that my email is just my first name dot my last name at millersville.edu. I'd be happy to spend some time with you one-on-one and talk a little bit about how we can help for your future. All right, now that we've got introductions done, what I'd like to do is introduce you to our president. This is Dr. Daniel Wuba, and Dr. Wuba is our 15th president at Millersville University. Believe it or not, this guy is a king from Ghana, which is pretty cool. So not every university can say that they have a king as their president. So we do receive Ghanaian delegations on our campus. He has taken students with him to Africa before as well, but his wife makes a wicked peanut soup, he tells us. So if you're into African cuisine, you definitely want to keep us in mind. Now, Dr. Wuba is a really smart guy. He's a botanist by trade, but believe it or not, over the summer, he was actually working with Anthony Fauci at the United Nations on how to safely reopen college campuses during a pandemic. So we're really lucky that we have him at Millersville. He's fantastic. We're really glad we have him. Now here's some quick basic information about Millersville University. And I apologize if you know this information already, but it's good to know that Millersville is a medium-sized state school. So we're not too big and we're not too small. We have about 7,000 undergraduates at Millersville and about 1,000 graduate students. We've got a lot of different programs at Millersville, so our academics are very high quality. And because of that, we have programs that none of the other 13 state schools in Pennsylvania even offer. So Millersville, for example, is the only state school in Pennsylvania to offer programs like meteorology, artificial intelligence, entertainment technology. So what that means for you all is whether you're one of those 4 students who knew exactly what they wanted to study, or you're that one student who had just no idea, chances are pretty good that we've got something just right for you at Millersville with one of our over 100 programs. And one of the things that speaks to the quality of education at Millersville is the fact that we don't have TAs, teaching assistants, teaching any of our classes. So whether you're taking a class for a general education requirement or you're taking a class related specifically to your major, you're always going to have an expert in the front of your classroom at Millersville University, and that makes a huge difference in terms of the quality of your education. All right, what I'll do is I'll take a quick look at the Q&A. Before the end of this meeting, can you give us your email? Yes, absolutely. And what I can do if I can figure this out, oh, there is no chat feature maybe. Yes, I'll give you my email again before the end of this meeting, no problem. Good question. So I'll go to the next slide. And again, if you have any questions as we go through this, throw them in the Q&A. All right. Next slide here. All right, so if you're local, if you're from South Central Pennsylvania, you probably know right where we are in Lancaster. If you're from somewhere else, here's a map for you. Give you a little bit more of an idea. So one of the great things about Millersville is our location, because as you guys can see, we're actually right in between Harrisburg, Philadelphia, and Baltimore. So we're just as far from Philly as we are from Baltimore, but we're also a stone's throw from Harrisburg. This is really important when it comes to picking a place that's not only going to give you access to opportunities for your education, but where you don't have to fight tooth and nail for those opportunities. So our location in South Central Pennsylvania is really a Goldilocks location where you're going to have access to a lot of different things. My favorite thing about our location is that you could go 10 minutes to our south and be in the middle of an Amish cornfield, okay? Or you could go 10 minutes to our west and be at the Turkey Hill farm where they make all of the ice cream. And last year, one of our bio students was the ice cream taste tester. Or you could go 10 minutes to our east and be in the middle of downtown Lancaster, which is a city of 60,000 people. And that's where our students go for coffee shops, bookshops, nightlife. So while our campus is very safe and very park-like, you could have anything you want within 10 minutes of campus. And a lot of people don't know, a lot of people think Amish and cornfields when they think of Lancaster. People don't know that we're actually the audio capital of the country, okay? So about 20 minutes from campus in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, is a company called Claire Global. And this was a company that was actually started by 2 of our alum about 50 years ago. But they do all different kind of music recording for celebrities. So we always have people like Lady Gaga coming to Lancaster, Beyonce. Last summer, Ariana Grande was in our Twitter, in our Target, and Twitter and Instagram like blew up. Everyone was freaking out because Ariana Grande was in town. But we have, if there's any parents on this call, we have Green Day came to Lancaster in last September. So yeah, so we get all different kinds of celebrities. So fantastic location. If you don't know downtown Lancaster, it's a super cool city. Definitely worth checking out. We'll go to the next slide here. All right, so we've got a lot of different majors at Millersville University. What I'd like you to do now is if you want me to talk about your major or any majors that you're thinking about, put them in the Q&A, okay? So I'd be happy to talk about any programs that we've got here at Millersville. if you throw those in the Q&A. Okay, so we got some good things in here. Oh, wow, this is great. You guys are awesome. Okay, so some of the questions that I'm getting, some of the majors that I'm getting questions about are things like radiology, physical therapy, occupational therapy. So we'll start with those, okay? So if you're into things like PT or OT, we don't have those programs specifically undergraduate at Millersville University. You can, however, still come to Millersville for your bachelor's degree because we have what are called agreements with other universities for things like PT. So for example, if a student was into sports, they could study sports medicine with us and then apply for an advanced degree in physical therapy. Normally it's called a DPT, a doctorate of physical therapy. So yeah, if you wanted to do something like that, we would be a great place to start. For things like radiology specifically, we don't have a major just for radiology. We do have majors for things like medical technology. And our programs for things like medical technology cover a whole bunch of different things, including things like radiology. So definitely keep us in mind if you are interested in radiology. For majors like computer science, our computer science students do things like coding, networking, programming. If you're a hacker, we do have a hacker club on campus, so that's pretty cool too. So we've got a lot of things for computer science. One of my computer science majors, he actually just graduated in the spring. He's actually applying for the Secret Service now. So like if you're, if you're looking for just computer science, IT, things like that, we're going to be a great place. If you want to do something more with it, like go Secret Service, you could also do that with us too. We do offer a degree in music education. So music education is a great certification that we have. We actually have our music faculty actually come from all around the world. So the chair of our department is from Ireland. We have one of our piano teachers is from Japan. The chair of our orchestra is actually from Ukraine. So we've got, and that might also be of interest to you if you're thinking about international studies as well. Our faculty come from all around the world. But yeah, music education, we would be an absolutely fantastic place to go for that. A lot of our students become band teachers, choir teachers. They go and they help with the marching band, things like that. And if you are in the marching band at Millersville, you've got that too, which is nice. For things like social work, man, you guys are great. This is fantastic. For social work, we not only offer the bachelor's of social work, we also offer the master's and the doctorate of social work. So in our social work building, you'll not only have people going from high school to college, you'll have people who are actually already social workers and are going for the most advanced degrees that exist in that field. And there are local organizations. I've been to college fairs before, and I was at a college fair once in York, Pennsylvania, and a third grade teacher came up to me and she said, "Thank goodness for Millersville social work students, because our students are actually extremely active providing services for our community." So that's fantastic as well. If you're thinking about studying something like psychology, criminology, we do have those programs. We don't have a criminal justice program, but we do have a criminology program. And our crim students do things like investigate crime scenes, testify at murder trials. There's also an ICE deportation facility near us. And last year, our students were there working with people before they got deported. So if you're thinking criminology, we have a fantastic program for that. We also have a forensics advisory committee that you could include for that as well. And for psychology, we have clinical psychology, school counseling. We even have a rat lab for our behavioral psychology students where they do like rat through the maze kind of thing. But you could double major at Millersville. So if you wanted to do psychology and criminology, you could do both of those. In fact, at Millersville, you can not only double major, you could triple major and triple minor if you really wanted to. That's a lot of work, and you definitely need to have a plan if you're going to do that. Most of our students don't do that, but it is in theory possible if you wanted to. We also have a really cool animal behavior program. And my roommate was animal behavior back when I was a student. And this kid, he got an internship at the Elephant Sanctuary for Barnum and Bailey down in Florida. He's worked at zoos across the country with just a bachelor's degree from Millersville. He's actually back in Pennsylvania now, but he met his wife, who also happened to be a Millersville alum, when they were working at a zoo in Alabama, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so if you're into animals, great place, especially if you want to be pre-vet. So if you want to get into veterinary school, we would also be a great place to consider. But if you don't want to go that far with your education, just getting a degree from animal behavior at Millersville, smart idea. And the last thing that I see on my side here is what degree can I get from computer science? So that's a great question too. So when you go to college, I don't know if anyone's like talked to you guys about the difference between a college and a university, but a college is made up of schools, whereas a university is made up of colleges. So at Millersville University, we're 4 main academic colleges under one university umbrella. So we're the College of Science and Technology, College of Arts and Humanities, College of Education and Human Services, and the College of Business. And each of our colleges are made up of different departments. Each department offers a different major, and each major offers a different type of degree. Okay? So if you're thinking about studying something like computer science, that falls under our College of Science and Technology. The degree for that then would be called a Bachelor's of Science. Okay? If you're thinking about becoming a music teacher, that would fall under the College of Education and Human Services. So that would be called a BSE, a Bachelor's of Science in Education. And if you're thinking about studying something like criminology, that's a Bachelor's of Science in Arts. So that would be a BA degree, a Bachelor's of Arts. And I did see a question about what I majored in. I'll talk about that down the road just in case at the end, because I don't want to bore you guys too much. But you all have been doing a great job with this Q&A thing, so kudos to you. All right, we're going to move forward here. And, oh, okay, this is fun. Okay, so academics, top-notch at Millersville, and they should be. That's why we want you to come to us. We have a ton of stuff to do outside of the classroom as well. Okay, so we have fraternities and sororities. We have religious organizations. We have a television station, a newspaper, the marching band that I told you about. Okay, get this. Our swimming pool on campus has a sound system in it so you can hear music when you're underwater. Okay? So whether you're the kid who wants to go to college to make friends from all around the world, or maybe you're the gamer that has the headphones on until 3 a.m. blowing up zombies, there are people like you on our campus. So at a place like Millersville, you never have to worry about being alone. All right, this is a fun part where I get to brag a little bit about some of my former students. So just to kind of give you an idea about some of the opportunities that our students have access to at Millersville. The first student who's pictured here in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen in the Eagles jersey, her name is Lexi, and she just graduated this past spring. Now, Lexi was amazing. She loves sports. She did an internship with the Philadelphia Phillies and the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay? She's actually working now full-time for the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay? So if you're into sports and you want to maybe do an internship with a team, our students do that. That second picture there, Gabby was, we have on our campus a coffee shop. We have several coffee shops, but we have one that's popular, the most popular. This coffee shop is called Saxby's. I need to tell you about Saxby's because this is a special coffee shop that's completely run by our business students. So they do the marketing, the accounting, the finance, and each semester we pick one student to run this coffee shop as a CEO. Gabby there, that second picture from left, she was our first Saxby's CEO at Millersville. And when you're a CEO at our coffee shop, you get paid $1,000 a week for 15 weeks and all of your classes paid for. So it's a lot of fun. It's great going into Saxby's because it's run by you guys. It's run by the students. So it's got a great atmosphere. It's just a great place. That third picture there, Alexis, believe it or not, she was one of our German majors at Millersville. And after she graduated, she received a prestigious Fulbright scholarship, which is a federal scholarship to go and do research. She's actually in Germany right now doing research in Germany, which is pretty cool. And then that last picture, Fanta was one of our government majors. And when she was at Millersville, she was the last student to be a student intern under Michelle Obama when the Obamas were still in the White House. Right? So whether you're local in South Central Pennsylvania and you want to get out, or you're from another part of Pennsylvania and you want to get closer to the action, make sure you keep Millersville in mind. Our students are doing phenomenal things. I'm so proud of them. All right, next. Okay. So if you're thinking about living on campus, listen up. And actually, if you're like me and you like to sleep, listen up. Because the place where our students sleep are phenomenal. If you've not been on campus yet and seen our residence halls, the place where our students live as freshmen, you guys live in the all brand new suite style residence halls at Millersville. So we don't make our freshmen live in the sketchy old unair conditioned building with cinder block walls. Our freshmen live with the upperclassmen in 2 people per bathroom suites, which are really nice. So no 30 people sharing a bathroom, air conditioning, Wi-Fi, and parking for freshmen. So if you have a car right now, or you're going to get a car over senior year, and you want to bring it with you to college, you can bring it with you to Millersville University. And even better, you actually get to park at your residence hall. I know some colleges that allow freshmen to bring cars make them park in like a satellite lot, not at Millersville. You park at your building, which is really cool. And the best thing, oh, you'll like this. The best thing about our residence halls, okay, they're new. When we built them a few years ago, we also bought a food truck for the construction workers so that they would have a place to eat lunch during the day. But what ended up happening was our students started using the food truck more than the construction workers. So when we caught on to that, we rebranded the food truck. It drives around campus during the day now like an ice cream truck, and you can use your meal plan there. And the best thing to get from the food truck is this sandwich called the Villainator, which is a cheeseburger as big as your head with mozzarella sticks and marinara sauce. Not good for you, but it's pretty good, pretty darn good. And speaking of food, if you're like me and you like to eat, Millersville is a great place to be because we're actually the last state school in all of Pennsylvania to do dining in-house. So at Millersville, all of our food comes fresh and local. We have our own executive chefs, pastry chefs, sous chefs. If you have any dietary restrictions, anything like gluten, celiacs, anything like that, we're happy to work with you as well. But yeah, our food is really good, especially if you have a sweet tooth. We have a really good bake shop. And we do this thing called a Toll House cookie dough pie. Very good. Okay, here's an important slide because it talks about money. And I'm sorry to make you guys listen to me. We're almost done here, so bear with me just a little while longer. We've got this slide and then one more slide after this, okay? So in terms of cost, if you're a Pennsylvania resident, which I think most of you are, the cost to come to Millersville is ridiculously low, okay? If you're planning on commuting to campus, the cost for 5 classes in the fall, 5 classes in the spring, all of the fees that go along with that, you're looking at about $6,000 a semester or about $12,000 a year. That's it. That is crazy. That's like super cheap. If you want to have a residence hall room and a meal plan, take advantage of all of the things that we do with our students on the weekend, you'd be looking at about $26,000 a year, which is about half the price of a private school right off the bat, okay? So we do offer merit scholarship at Millersville, and most of our students at Millersville do receive some type of financial aid. But yeah, in terms of cost, you get a lot for your money at a place like Millersville. Okay. The last thing that I wanted to go over with you guys is what it looks like if you decide to move forward with us. So if you want to submit an application, or if you've already done that and you're thinking about your next steps, this is what it looks like. So if you're a senior and you haven't applied yet, now is a great time to get your application in. And for Millersville, we have 2 applications you can use. You get to pick which one you want. We do accept the Common App, and we also have our own application. Our own application is a little bit more intuitive, a little bit more user-friendly, but we have no preference over which one you use. Okay? Now, one of the things that we've done if you're a senior, one of the things that we've done this year as a result of the pandemic is we've waived our $40 application fee for this year. So you can apply for free right now if you're a senior. If you're a junior, you have to wait until August 1st of 2021, and then you can start applying to Millersville. But if you're a senior right now, this is a great time to apply. Okay? When you apply, we only need one other thing from you to complete your application. That's your transcripts from school. Okay? Once we have your application and your transcripts, we'll be able to make a decision on your application. I know one of the questions in the Q&A was, do I have to submit SAT scores for Millersville this year? The answer to that is no. We've waived our SAT, ACT test requirement for this year as a result of the pandemic, and we're not really sure what next year is going to look like if you're a junior, but keep an eye out and feel free to keep in touch because we're just really not sure at this point. But if you're a senior and you haven't had a chance to take the SAT or the ACT as a result of the pandemic, we can consider you for admission without the SAT or ACT. Most of our students, about 50% when they apply, have about a 3.5 GPA on a 4.0 scale and have about an 1100 SAT, about a 22 composite on the ACT. So that's not a minimum, but that just kind of gives you an idea of where our average student falls. If you've done any AP or dual enrollment in high school, an AP score of 3 or higher will come through as credit at Millersville. And if you've done any dual enrollment work or college in the classroom work in high school, most of those classes will transfer in, but send us a transcript to be sure, and we'll evaluate that transcript and let you know for certain if you're going to get credit for that class or not. Okay? And if you are thinking of transferring into Millersville, or you're thinking about using any military benefits or anything like that, send me an email privately and I'll be happy to talk about those next steps as well. Okay? One of the questions that came in the chat here or came in the Q&A is, do you have rolling admissions? The answer to that is yes. So we have no deadline for admissions. You get your application in when you can. I will say if you want best consideration for merit scholarship, get your application in before the new year. Okay? We start our merit scholarship process in January. So you want to make sure that all of that stuff is done before January. And then another question that came in is, do grades for senior year count? And that's a great question. So what happens is when you guys apply to a college and we get your transcript, we typically see freshman year, sophomore year, and junior year. So we'll see all of the classes that you've taken and then all of your grades that you've got in them. It'll be like a giant report card. But what happens is when it comes to senior year, we typically only see the classes that you're taking. We don't see any grades with them. And in most cases, that's because you don't have a final grade in that class yet. But what will happen is if you do decide to move forward with Millersville, once you graduate high school, we'll get a copy of your final transcripts so that we can then go in, verify, make sure that you actually did in fact graduate, and we will see your final grades at that time. But typically when you apply, we don't see your senior year grades. So that's not an excuse to get senioritis, but we don't typically see senior year grades. Do you accept, another question that came in is, do you accept letters of recommendation or personal essays? And the answer is yes. So we do accept letters of recommendation. They're optional. You don't have to send them in, but you can. And if you're going to send in letters of recommendation, please don't send in more than 2. And if you're applying over the Common App, just keep in mind that one of your letters of recommendation would be coming from your counselor at school. So you would only need one more. Please don't send me a letter of recommendation from your parents. I've gotten that before, or older brother or sister. Not what I'm interested in. I want to see, if you're going to send in a letter of recommendation, I want to see a letter from someone who knows you outside of like home life, and maybe outside of school would be good too. So if you're in any sports or clubs or organizations or religious life, that would be great. And the other nice thing is, yeah, if you have like a resume or you're keeping track of all of the things that you're doing in high school, you can send that to us as like a Microsoft Word document, a PDF. We can also include that in your files as well. Man, you guys are on fire tonight here. In addition to merit scholarships, do you have others? For example, for minorities. What other avenues of financial aid exist? Okay, yeah, we've got a lot, actually. That's a great question. So I'm going to go off script here, since you guys are asking good questions. And I'm going to show you a trick on how to find out things like financial aid information from different colleges and universities. And hopefully as I switch things here, it doesn't glitch too much. All right, here we go. Okay. So what I've done is I pulled up Millersville's homepage. Okay. And what you can do at just about any college or university, most of them have these like search features here. Okay. And if you search the term catalog, this is like a super secret trick. Students don't know about this, but since you guys asked, I'm going to show you. Okay? Just about every college and university out there has what's called a catalog. Okay? And this is like a massive, really thick document. If there's a parent on here, you probably remember they used to print these things. They were like phone books. Okay? Students, you probably don't know what a phone book is, but for parents out there, you get the idea. Okay? And when this pulls up, it's a massive document. This one is how many pages? 280 pages. Okay? And what you can do is you can search these things normally. So if you search something like scholarship, okay, you can see that there's usually information about financial aid, expenses, scholarships. So watch this. If I click to this page, you can see all of the dozens and dozens of different scholarships that we offer at Millersville University. Literally like pages of scholarships. Okay? So what I would recommend, if you're seriously considering a college or university, what you want to do is you want to look at that school's catalog. Okay? You want to search the term scholarship in their catalog, and you want to see what they're giving money for. Okay? Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, awesome. Let's see where we are. So we're just at like 1 minute left. I'm gonna change my name here to my email. So if you guys do want to get in touch with me, you know, shoot me an email. I am happy to respond to any questions you have. Actually, I can't figure out how to do that. It's my first name, Joshua, dot my last name, Felice, at millersville.edu. And the very last thing that I want to leave you with before our 1 minute is up here is I want you guys to know that we work with a lot of different types of students at our university. Okay? We had a kid who came to us once who was first in their family to go to college. This kid came from a broken home, had no money, was on free lunches in high school. Millersville wasn't even their first choice, but it's where they ended up. This kid did not fall through the cracks at our school. We got this kid to graduation. Not with 1 degree, this kid is up to their 5th degree. During their time at Millersville, they went on to work for the Walt Disney Company down in Florida. They travel the world now teaching English in places like Budapest, Poland, Germany. And you know who this kid was who overcame all of these barriers at Millersville? This kid was me. So if you guys are looking for a place that's going to let you live up to your potential, there is no better place to do it than a place like this. Because there's people like me at Millersville who don't just believe in Millersville, but are there to believe in you too. You guys have been awesome. Keep in touch. Thank you so much for a great session, and I hope you have a great night.
Awesome. Thank you so much for an awesome session, Josh, and to Millersville. Just some last final housekeeping items. When you close this window, there's going to be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We appreciate any feedback that you have. Also, keep in mind, this is just one of many sessions that are being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at pacac.org/virtual. And lastly, in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as others at pacac.org/virtual. Thank you so much once again to Josh and Millersville University. We thank you for tuning in to our virtual college exploration, and everyone have a great evening.